Okay, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're diving into the Everyday Meditator breaking the modern myth. We're going to unpack some really profound insights from Osho and J. Krishnamurti that honestly might just totally shatter the stress-inducing, conventional wisdom we've all been sold about meditation. If the mere thought of sitting perfectly still completely stresses you out, well, you're in the right place, because this is going to be incredibly liberating. Let's get into it.
So what's fascinating here is how this idea completely subverts everything we think we know. The philosopher J. Krishnamurti puts it bluntly: a deliberate attempt to meditate is not meditation, right? Think about that for a second. In the West, we are literally hardwired to believe that if we just apply enough elbow grease, if we just concentrate hard enough, we can conquer absolutely anything. But Krishnamurti and Osho are arguing that trying super hard to meditate actually destroys the meditation itself. You can't invite it, it just has to happen. All those conscious attempts to wrestle our brains into submission, that's actually the exact opposite of meditation.
And to understand why trying so desperately fails, we just need to look at our own daily routines. I mean, we live these highly rational, ridiculously busy lives. You go for a jog in the morning, you grind through a high-stress job all day, you come home to cook and wrangle the family, and then, what, at 9 p.m., you try to completely force an hour of meditation? By doing this, we're essentially turning meditation into just another exhausting chore on a to-do list that's already a mile long. It just becomes another metric for success or failure, right? It literally adds to the exact anxiety it's supposed to cure. And honestly, this is the modern trap we all seem to fall into. You sit down in your special quiet room, lock the door, kick out the kids and the cats, cross your legs, and you fully expect this pure, undisturbed silence. But the messy reality? You get absolutely flooded with this chaotic internal monologue. Suddenly you're thinking, my bottom hurts, or wait, did I turn the oven off? Or I'm freezing, why are they being so loud out there? Before someone explicitly told you to stop thinking, you probably didn't even realize you were thinking all the time. Now, the very act of trying to stop your thoughts turns your mind into this rebellious, noisy battleground. There is a brilliant visual metaphor for true meditation found in classical Tang Dynasty ink painting, specifically paintings of the monk Kanzan. The artists used a technique called the thrifty brush. Basically, with just a few incredibly light, sparse touches of ink on a white background, they strip away absolutely everything unnecessary. They're just revealing the raw suchness of the subject, just a total frugality of ink. And that right there is true meditation. It's not about adding some complex, rigid 10-step routine to your life. It's about stripping away all that unnecessary mental clutter to reveal what's already sitting right underneath. Okay, so here is the absolute million-dollar question if forced meditation doesn't work. And if you can't learn it through some neat step-by-step tutorial with a specific motive in mind, how do you actually achieve it? I mean, if our motives and our goals are literally the things driving us mad and keeping us running in these endless circles, how do we break out and learn this unteachable art of just being? Well, let's look at a really fascinating parable from the text about a burglar. So this burglar is getting older, and his son asks to be taught the family trade so he can take over the business. The father agrees, takes the boy out on a nighttime heist, and tells him to climb inside this large chest to pick out some clothes. But the absolute second the boy is inside, the father slams the lid shut, locks it, deliberately makes a huge racket to wake up the entire sleeping house, and then just quietly slips away into the night, totally abandoning his son. So, locked inside, the boy is just absolutely terrified, right? And furiously angry. He doesn't have a manual, he doesn't have a 5-point plan on how to escape a locked chest in a house full of waking people. But then, an idea just spontaneously flashes to him. He meows like a cat. A maid comes over to investigate with a candle. And the very moment she unlocks that lid, he bursts out, blows out her candle, shoves right past her, and bolts. When the angry family chases him, he chucks a heavy stone into a nearby well as a distraction. They all gather around the well thinking the burglar drowned, and the boy just completely escapes into the dark. Trapped and terrified, he didn't rely on a textbook technique. He completely relied on the pure, spontaneous present moment. And when this furious son finally gets home and starts yelling at his dad, trying to explain the harrowing details of how he escaped, the father just stops him. His response is the whole secret of the parable. He says, "Don't bother to tell me the details. You are here. You have learned the art." The dad didn't give him a lecture. He didn't give him a rigid methodology. He threw him into a situation where he simply had to act without premeditation. True meditation, just like that boy's survival, has to happen organically. When you act completely in the present moment, totally without a pre-planned motive, bam, you found it.
The source text actually asks us to visualize this shift geometrically, which is pretty cool. Imagine your whole life laid out flat, like a continuous circle of habits. You just move along the edge of this circle from birth to death. To find the beginning of a truly meditative state, you literally have to break out of that ingrained loop. You have to jump the track and create a new one. Even the tiniest change alters the entire geometry. You get a new radius, a new circumference, basically an entirely new reality. You essentially become a totally different person just by refusing to run on that old, predictable track of anxieties and motives. Fair warning, though, breaking your circle is wildly unpredictable. The text makes it very clear that true meditation is actually kind of dangerous because it completely dismantles everything you thought you knew about yourself. If you really commit to it, you are going to experience some wild, completely paradoxical side effects. We're talking sudden, unexplainable depression or fear, or just random anger at the people around you. You might get bizarre physical aches or feel intensely exhausted. But then, on the flip side, you might experience this incredible elation, deep peace, chronic illnesses suddenly disappearing, and just this boundless physical energy where you barely even need sleep. It is entirely out of your control. And honestly, that's exactly how it's supposed to be. Okay, so let's get practical. If we can't force it, but we absolutely need to break our habitual circle, where do we actually start? Well, the source gives us a very tangible, everyday method to, quote unquote, stop the world. And it begins the literal second you wake up. Morning is this incredibly sensitive, open time. But usually, what do? We wake up and instantly crush that sensitivity with our to-do lists, stressing about the commute, mentally prepping for work. We are going to completely disrupt that. Instead of letting all those daily worries immediately flood your brain, try this before you even open your eyes. Wake up maybe 10 minutes earlier than usual. First, stretch every single fiber of your body. Literally stretch like a cat waking up from a nap. Do that for a solid 3 or 4 minutes. Then keep your eyes firmly shut and just begin to laugh. Just laugh for 5 minutes straight. Now, at first, as the text points out, you're totally going to be faking it. It's going to feel super weird and manufactured. But very quickly, just the sheer sound of your own forced laughter is going to trigger genuine, uncontrollable laughter. You will completely lose yourself in it. Committing just 10 or 15 minutes to this morning laughter routine, it will completely change the entire nature of your day. It fills your whole being with this bubbling, joyous energy that just naturally spills over into every mundane thing you do. By starting the day with laughter, you really quickly start to realize just how beautifully absurd life actually is. You realize that nothing is truly that serious, not your disappointments, not your pain, honestly, not even yourself. You become so much lighter, and that frantic, motive-driven, overthinking mind, it simply takes a backseat. So I really want to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought from the text to ponder today. True meditation isn't some chore you put on a calendar. It's the act of being so utterly present that time itself literally ceases to matter. The text says, stopping the world is the whole art of meditation, and to live in the moment is to live in eternity. So ask yourself, are you still letting the illusion of time and that endless treadmill of motives drive you crazy? Or are you finally ready to jump the track, stop the world, and taste immortality right here, right now? Thanks so much for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I will definitely catch you on the next one.